Now, you probably read that title and thought to yourself, I don't hate Sumeru. I actually enjoyed it a lot. But hold on, let me explain why me, so many others, really don't like Sumeru at all. And if you do like Sumeru, then your opinion is just wrong, and you should feel bad. I don't make the rules. And another thing you might be thinking is, why is this guy complaining about Sumeru in 2024 when Fontaine is literally out and everyone's happy about Genshin because Fontaine is the best region ever made and it saved Genshin. But let me tell you this, just because Fontaine saved Genshin doesn't mean we can forgive Sumeru for nearly killing it. Like, Sumeru was so bad, it made me stop playing Genshin altogether. And also start making Genshin YouTube videos. I really haven't made any videos in how many months? Wow, what have I been doing with my life? So, as you can see, Sumeru has pretty much destroyed my life. So, I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about why I hate Sumeru so much. Because as you can see, Sumeru has had me right here. Yep, right there. But now look at me. Look what Sumeru has done to me. Back then, I was pretty happy. Just made Genshin videos. Was a happy kid. Life was good. Now I'm depressed. She took the kids. Got bills to pay. Don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I'm just gonna blame that all on Sumeru. Definitely not any of my issues. Okay, let me have my copium in peace, please. But before we can delve into this issue of why Sumeru is just so bad to begin with, we have to do a quick history lesson on Genshin, just to get you guys up to speed on why so many people felt that Sumeru was so lackluster. Sumeru released as part of Genshin 3.0 in late 2022, and it was the third major new region of Genshin, with Inazuma and Liyue coming out before it. And with Genshin being out for 2 years at this point, we can already see why some people would just not like Sumeru straight off the bat, and that reason is just burnout. And if you don't know what that is, let me explain. When you have been doing the same thing every single day for 2 years straight, it's only natural to get bored of it at some point. And unless there's some real, substantial change, yeah, you're not going to enjoy it as much. And this is exactly what most of us found with Genshin 3.0. Because when Sumeru dropped, all we got was a new element, Dendro, which really didn't change much. Like, I didn't even use Dendro. And, oh wow, we got a new region to explore, but it's a desert. You know what deserts are? They're empty. It's just sand. I hate sand. Rough, coarse, and it gets everywhere. And a very bloated main story quest with tons and tons of unskippable dialogue that just makes you question, what are you doing with your life? As you mindlessly just try and skip through the story as fast as possible. Like seriously, they just don't stop yapping. And finally, to finish this all off, Sumeru just had no new good 5 stars. Like literally, all of them were just kinda mid. And from these reasons alone, we can already kinda see how Sumeru was set up to fail before he even started. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. First things first, let's delve into the first issue, with the story. So, after speedrunning all of Sumeru's Archon quests in a couple of days, like, you know I have to actually play the game to make these videos? Crazy, I know. But it made me realize something, and that is that the actual story content is actually pretty interesting. You're in this new region, there's new characters, there's new factions, you got like the evil academy, and you got like sand mercenaries, and then there's this massive wall separating the two people, and they hate each other for some reason, and like you got the jungle and you got the desert, and then you got like the super old pyramids in the desert, like who made those, like, you know, and you got the new Archon, and like they're exiled for some reason, and they're also a child for some reason, I don't know. But the way all of this is presented in game is just so mind-numbingly boring. You have to sit through hours, and I mean hours of unskippable dialogue and useless cutscenes of characters just talking. They just talk, and it's so boring. And Genshin's dated dialogue system doesn't really help, because it gives you the illusion that you have a choice or a say in what happened, when in reality, both options lead to the same overall conclusion. The game's just making sure that you're still alive, because this dialogue will honestly kill you. Like, there was this one part in the story where it got super tense. Like Dehya, one of the new characters, like some weird fairy lady, kinda looks like bootleg Diluc. Like she has a massive sword, she's pyro, she's edgy. She was about to cut her arm off to prove a point, and everyone's like super shocked, and it's meant to be a super tense moment. It just ends up looking so goofy. Like, look at everyone's faces. Did anyone actually think they were gonna cut her arm off? But yeah, the ratio of cutscenes and mindless walking, following random NPCs, waiting at a specific location, all that boring stuff, versus actually being able to play the game is insane. I'd reckon for every hour of dialogue, you get one fun thing to do afterwards. Whether it's just combat encounter, or being able to explore this pyramid, which is a pretty cool section, or like, you know, a boss fight. but 1 hour of unskippable dialogue for that, yeah, that's not a good trade. Also keep in mind, I was just spamming through the dialogue. Like, I wasn't reading it. Well, I mean, I was speed reading it. So imagine if you were actually trying to pay attention, like 100% attention, then that would be way longer. I don't know if anyone actually does that. Do you guys do that? But maybe it's my fault for trying to binge all of 3.0's questline in one go. Hours of dialogue in like a couple days, that fried my brain. And what makes it worse is that there are cool set pieces and ideas hidden throughout all of this mindless dialogue of like random characters talk. But so many players, me included, like they just drop the game before they reach the cool part because they don't want to sit through hours of cutscenes. And this literally happened to me. I really did not want to sit through all of Sumeru's questline. So I feel like the one takeaway we can have is story's pretty neat. Of course I can't go through all of it now because that'll take hours. But Genshin just has to fix its pacing. Story's good, pacing bad. Genshin, please fix. Now let's look at the next issue of exploration. So as you know, Sumeru consists of a massive desert and a forest. Forest is pretty cool. You got trees, green, like there's actually stuff to do. But that's like a small area. Most of Sumeru is a desert. And you know what's in the desert? Nothing. Nothing but sand. You have these occasional like yellow slingshot things you can stick to, and those like propel you forward and make walking through the sand a little bit faster. But this shouldn't be used as the solution to fix your boring overworld traversal. Because like walking around the map wasn't an issue in any other region, because you always had interesting stuff to do. Like you'd have a teleport waypoint here, some hilichurls over there, a domain over there, some like materials you need to harvest over here. But in Sumeru, all you have is, do you see the issue now? I hate sand. Okay, I'm not making that joke again. I'm sorry. They should have introduced a new movement mechanic specific for the sand, like how Fontaine introduced diving for all the water. You know? That made Fontaine and its exploration way more fun. But guess what? Sumeru is missing that. Genshin could have just stolen off Breath of the Wild again. We already know that they already stole off it before with the climbing and the gliding. But they could have just stolen the shield surfing mechanic. I don't know how they'd integrate that, but like some kind of surfing mechanic. Because Breath of the Wild uses that in its massive desert area. And that desert area is actually fun to explore. Because you got these seals you can attach to, you can surf on your shield. It's just fun. Does Genshin do any of that? No. You're just walking. Genshin, please fix. Now for probably the most disappointing aspect. Maybe it's just me, but after seeing Dendro like kinda like, well not secretly hinted at, but like Dendro's always been like in the loading screens and you see a couple of Dendro enemies here and there throughout all of Genshin. And then when Dendro finally comes out, it's just kinda underwhelming. I don't know. Maybe I'm too smooth-brained to use Dendro because I haven't used it yet. I don't really care about it. It's just kinda lackluster. I don't really care about it. Maybe that's just a me issue. Probably is. Then again, I also don't know how to play Genshin. I made my official a physical DPS for some reason, and if you want to find out why, you can watch this really strange video that I made nearly a year ago. But yeah, maybe Dendro's not that bad. Maybe I should actually learn how to play Genshin. But lastly, probably the biggest issue, especially in a gacha game where Genshin wants to steal your money, the pull for these 5-star characters. And yeah, that's the issue. The issue is the characters. And when the characters just aren't that great, then do you really want to spend money to pull for them? Didn't think so. The 5 stars they introduced are pretty underwhelming. Like, everyone hates Dehya, and we know why. I mean, just look at her. What do you notice? She's a fairy. And she's also just bootleg Tulu, like we said before. Sino, he's just super boring. Just an edgy kid. Kinda looks like a fairy too. Does he have cat ears? I don't know, Sino just reminds me of Reza, and Reza's just cooler, and he's also a 4-star. So Sino, you're just bad. Nahida, who is just some weird child, she's also the Archon, but she also just like talks about Dookie.
People always say they feel a sense of relief after they take a Duke.
Yeah, it's just strange. We all know who the best Archon is, so Nahida is not it. Wanderer, who's just some bratty kid, won't shut up. Pretty edgy as well, but he has one redeeming quality. You know what that is? He has a pretty cool hat. Look at it. Pretty neat. Oh, and he can fly. Guess that's okay too. Tainari, I don't know how the flip you say his name, but look at him. Do I have to say anything else? He's a fairy. Case closed. Nilao, I can't lie. I may have forgotten that she existed. So yeah, I'm sorry. And finally, we have Alhaitham. You know what? I don't really have anything bad to say about this guy. He's pretty cool. I can't really complain. I mean, just look at the guy. Look at him. Look at all those muscles. Okay, never mind. Yeah, look, he's tall. He got the muscles. He got the drip. He's Dendro. So you know what? Maybe Dendro's not that bad. Maybe I like Dendro. And maybe I should stop simping for fictional men. What?